I've got a nice big Baker Creek seed packet here. It's a big one. Let's see what we got. I'm so excited to see what we have in store. Let's rip it open and see what's inside. So we're going to see how I spent $74 on seeds, and I'm sure it's exciting. Okay, the first seed packet does not disappoint. This is the Celosia. It's a variegated cockscomb, and the reason I bought it was because I saw the commercials where they made all these different kinds of like tea out of them, and the gentleman went through and was like sipping on them. This looked so pretty. I was like, you know what? It's gorgeous and it's useful, so that I had to grab it. It's variegated, obviously you saw from the pictures, and it's also bicolor. So if you look here, there's the variegation here, and the bicolor makes it very ornamental. And it can be 3 feet tall with 2 to 4 inch blooms. Sow seeds in place after frost. So I'll be planting these out in the second week of May. And it likes warm soil. And grow them in full sun. Beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. My free seed packet with this order are the Danvers half longs. So can always grow more carrots. And in a previous video, I showed you what the seeds look like when you're trying to gather your own. Make sure that you know where you put your carrots, because there are lookalikes that are not edible. It could be dangerous. So if you know, like, you plant all your carrots in certain areas and you let a few go, then you can collect your own seeds. So that's what I plan on doing with all my carrots. I mean, I'm going to obviously harvest, but I'm going to leave some so I can collect my own seeds. And luckily I got these for free, and I don't think I'll ever have to buy carrot seeds again. Remember, you should only plant one type of corn in an area because they're wind pollinated, and you could end up with Frankenstein corn, especially if you're like growing like a dent corn or a field corn and a sweet corn. Then you're going to end up with some really weird stuff that might not really be fun to eat. So now if they're all sweet corns and they all mature at the same rate, it might just be kind of funky looking, but still edible. But if I was growing something I wanted to save for seed, I would definitely only plant one type. This here is the Art Verrell's white corn, and it just sounded really yummy to me. So this one was bred in the Pacific Northwest, which is where we are located. And it's kind of blurry. And I specifically chose this because it said Pacific Northwest. And it's nice if you grow some things that are really specific for your region, especially if you're serious about having a really strong harvest. And this is a perfect sweet corn for northern gardeners. It's short, 3 to 4 foot stalks. So it's not going to be like a corn maze. 3 to 4 feet tall. Could be really fun for growing for like a children's garden. And you're going to direct sow, which is, I would always want to direct sow corn. To me, I don't feel like it's really worth transplanting. I mean, you're mostly getting 1 or 2 ears per plant. And that's what I found anyway. Unless the package actually says like 2 or 3 ears per stalk, you usually get just 1. So I don't feel like transplanting each single plant is worth it for just 1 ear of corn. So I like to direct plant it anyway. And also when I've transplanted, sometimes it's okay, but I don't feel like you get that much of an advantage. By the time it reacclimates to the soil, corn grows so fast, you might as well have just planted it straight in the ground. Save yourself a lot of time and containers and labeling and your back by planting it straight in the soil. And 1 or 2 weeks before last spring frost. So this means I need to plant it the last week of April. So sometimes it'll say like after the spring frost. This one says 1 or 2 weeks before last spring frost. And then it says to succession plant. good to know. So you could plant some and then a couple weeks later plant some more. That way you have not all of them are ripe at the same time. You're actually harvesting for a longer season. And I had to buy these. I know the window is really not great. But this is the Black Beauty tomato, which is supposed to be the darkest colored tomato in the world. And if you've heard of one that's darker, please let me know. But this one says it's the world's darkest tomato, so dark that some tomatoes turn solid blue-black on the skin. And now it does say start indoors 6 to 10 weeks before last frost. I only have 5 weeks, but I don't know. I'm feeling like I should. I don't know. I only really have 5 weeks to the last frost. So I'm thinking maybe I will push it a little bit and plant a few of these. Just for fun. Yes, I got another kind of corn. And this one is the one I'm most familiar with besides just like a basic sweet corn. And this is the Atomic Orange. And it did so great for me the year that I planted it. Actually, 2 years I planted it, that I actually had my students checking the corn and removing the kernels just for an experience of like how to do it. And then also they got to plant the seeds that they collected. So it was really, really cool experience for them. And I was overly generous in giving them away, so I had to buy some more. So these are 60 to 80 days. And this is a soft flint corn from Montana. And they grow 5 feet tall stalks and 1 or 2 10-inch ears. So this one might produce 2 ears on a single stalk or 1. So most of them probably will have 1. But there might be a few that have 2, which is better yielding. And the ones that have 2, I might end up saving those seeds, and then we'll eat the ones that only produce 1, so that over time we are saving for the ones that have a bigger harvest. And so that's how I like to save. That's how I like to improve my seed stock, is you save for the qualities that you like. And it's a really beautiful orange color. We're also direct sowing, and it says 1 or 2 weeks before last spring frost. Now, I didn't do that when I planted them. I planted them after the spring frost, so I'm not sure that that's extremely important to do so. And I did not succession plant, but you can if you want to prolong your harvest. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So when I'm planting my corn, I am not planting them on the same property. Now, they don't recommend this, but this is something that you could try, which is like, let's say you plant one of them in the front yard and one in the backyard. If there's a good structure between them, it's possible you won't end up with Frankenstein corn because they are wind pollinated. So as long as the wind does not blow the pollen from one plant to the other, it is possible you could keep them separated. So you gotta keep that in mind. Now you might end up with a few that do cross-pollinate. So if you're really into seed saving, you might want to just plant one or the other. The next seed variety here is called Celtuce, and it is a species of lettuce, but it's specifically grown for this thick, long stem, which is really interesting. So I'm definitely going to be growing this. And you can grow your leafy greens around each other as long as you're not saving seeds. And if you're saving seeds, you just don't let them flower at the same time. So I wouldn't let... And by the way, when you let the greens, usually most varieties, if you're letting them go to seed, they're better at that point. You're not eating them. So you're saving them from the seeds. When you let them bolt and go to seed, if they're not flowering at the same time, you're not going to have cross-pollination. But if you have more than one variety flowering, I would just harvest one variety and just keep cut and come again kind of thing. And then for this kind, I'm going to assume, this is an assumption or an inference, that when you harvest this, you're probably done. So if I wanted to leave a stalk or two of these flowering, I'm just going to make sure that I don't have any other lettuces flowering at the same time. That way I can actually have Celtuce seed without having the genetics contaminated, right? Because you want to have things that you know what you're planting, at least for the most part. It's okay to have a couple mystery seeds, but you really want to know what you're growing. And then that way you can label them correctly and keep track of your seed varieties. My next variety is another Celosia. This one is called Quailgrass. It's also called Lego Spinach. And I think I might have had another one of these or something similar in my last video where I did a bunch of different kind of leafy greens. So this will be something that I save for next year or the year after, and then I'll plant the other seeds so that I end up having a seed rotation. Use the older seeds first. Definitely make sure you eat your use and then eat your older plants, right? Especially if they're tasty and heat tolerant, prolific, and this is an Amaranth relative, and it's from Africa, or it's especially popular in African countries. Nutritious leaves added to soups and stews, and it's great for a permaculture garden, which is true of any perennial, edible perennial, and looks wonderful. So it's going to love the sun, which is the case with Amaranth. So this is an Amaranth relative. Beautiful leaves. Absolutely gorgeous. Next up, I got a couple package of Job's Tears. And I specifically am planting these because I want to be able to use some of the seeds for rosary beads. Now, I'm not Catholic, I am Protestant, but my husband's Catholic. And I think that would just be something really beautiful for him. So I don't want to use them until I have a good stock of seeds, obviously because I want to plant a lot of them. So I probably won't use them the first couple years. I'll plant them and harvest, plant them and harvest until I have a lot going. And this is a perennial. It's an ancient grain-bearing plant, and it's used for food, necklaces, rosary beads, and traditionally in folk medicine for arthritis and to remove heat. Oh, I could use it for my arthritis in my hands. That'd be beautiful. And then it's also planted, it says here, annual. I'm confused, people. It says perennial and then annual. So you're confusing me. Is it a perennial or is it an annual? If you know the answer, comment below and let me know. But it says annual and perennial on the same packet. And it does say direct sow this outdoors after last frost, or start them indoors 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost. I might start them indoors, possibly. I'm thinking about it because last time I planted them, they got lost in the landscape. So it might be helpful just so you know where they are. And I might soak some of them first to see if that speeds up germination. But aren't they beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. I do already have some of these seeds, but I want to use them. And so I thought, you know what? These are going to be for my seed stock for another year. But I love the idea of growing some plants that have historical value. So I got these Succotash beans, which isn't that fun to say. Succotash. And they look like they're just beautiful, right? Just totally beautiful. And it's a rare ancient bean from the Narragansett Indian tribe of Rhode Island. And I probably said that wrong. I apologize. I think it looks like corn. It's just really pretty though. And it was served at the first Thanksgiving. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to plant these and then have a dish at Thanksgiving that would have been really authentic? So I thought that would be really awesome. And I do have some more seeds like this somewhere. And I'm going to use those before I use these. Get that seed rotation down. I need to be better about that as well. Is rotating my seeds and not using the new seeds. Use the old seeds first. Alright. Okay, you guys. I did buy another tomato plant. Tomato seeds. This one's called Rebel Starfighter Prime. And I got them because they're really beautiful. Look at that. They're absolutely beautiful. This variety too says to plant them 6 to 10 weeks before the last frost indoors, right? To speed up germination, a heat mat is helpful. Now, I'm 5 weeks before my last frost. So, I mean, these are 80 days. So, if I'm kind of combining the idea that I need 6 to 10 weeks inside and then 80 days outside. So, you're adding that. And then you also have how long does it take to germinate, right? So, basically, you need, a couple months inside. If I plant them out if I transplant them out in June, which is later, June, July, middle August. So these would start producing for me mid-August. Is it worth planting them or save them for next year? Should I plant these now for this year or should I save them for next year? Pop a comment below. Now, folks, I do have a third type of corn in this order. This one's called Country Gentleman, and it's like one of my favorites. It doesn't have those perfect straight rows. It looks like all willy-nilly, like there's just kernels everywhere. It's one of the best heirloom varieties of corn. You're also going to want to direct seed these into your garden in nice big blocks of plants, because again, these are wind pollinated, and 1 or 2 weeks before the last frost. So this will be something that's direct seeded. Direct seeding is kind of nice because you save your time and your effort and your energy. Planting things like peppers and tomatoes indoors 6 to 10 weeks or 12 weeks before your last frost is an added step. Okay, so it is nice when you can plant something directly into the ground. So I am getting this Country Gentleman, and they've been introduced since 1890, and it is an heirloom. And again, you want to plant in blocks for proper pollination. And I want to be able to seed save, which means I'm going to save a couple of the ears and dry them and let them fully mature and then dry them and have them for next year or the year after. And I have some more packages, so I didn't buy 2 for this order because I already have some. And I do want to grow a lot. This is the Early Rose Celosia, and this was also in the commercial where they poured water over them. They had like this, like almost like a tea, and the gentleman went through and he was like tasting all the different flavors. It doesn't talk about that on the back of the package, but it does say it's stunning and beautiful. You can either start them indoors 3 to 4 weeks before last frost and then transplant them out after last frost, or you can direct seed them. So I probably will direct seed them since that's an option. And they're absolutely stunning. Really, really beautiful. And on that note, with the Celosia, I do have this one here, which is called the Chinese Wool Flower, which is totally beautiful and charming. And this one here says it's nearly extinct, edible, ornamental. It's phenomenally tender and delicious leaves. The greens of this beautiful Celosia have been our favorite ingredient at the Baker Creek Test Kitchen. We love them tempura style, yum, on pizza and on salads. The blooms look like a tangle of colorful yarn. Same type of planting instructions. And you get minimum of 50 seeds for $5. So beautiful. And this one I'm going to be very careful with since it says it's nearly extinct, because that's really, really precious. And then I have another type, which is called the Kumquat Orange. And I love that tangerine color. So pretty. And it's crinkled, wrinkled, vibrant tangerine to kumquat colored heads and long, sturdy stems. These are a floral designer's dream. Flower farmers and home gardeners will love this punchy, citrus-colored cockscomb. The heads are medium to large with a velvety sheen. Beautiful. Absolutely love that. So pretty. Look at these. gorgeous. And then, isn't this lovely? This is an Amaranth, and it is, this one I didn't order. I ordered it before, and you can go back to that video I posted a few days ago where I show you my greens, and I bought this before. So this is nice, though. I'll go ahead and plant the other ones and then save these for later so that I have my seed storage backed up. And this is heat tolerant. It is an Amaranth. Amaranths are all heat tolerant. Tender green. Greens are endlessly versatile. It's a powerhouse of nutrition and very heat tolerant for summertime. It is a gorgeous addition to the garden and edible ornamental indeed. So this kind of plant is what you could get away with probably. Like if you're in an HOA where they don't let you have a front yard garden, you could plant this and they won't know the difference. It's so gorgeous. Yes, we have another Celosia. This is the Red Raven Cockscomb. And this one here you see, usually if they have something like this on the side, it means you're going to make it into a tea or something awesome. And it says 90 to 100 days. With its striking red leaves and large blood red blooms, this variety brings a dramatic flair to the garden. The leaves are edible, and the blossoms can be made into tea. Compact, easy to grow, and so beautiful. So I wonder, the ones that I've shown that don't say they can be made into tea, I wonder if they're just not as good. Like why would they show it in the commercial and then not say it on the actual package? Like this one here. Like it doesn't say it on the package here. So I always like to go back and just double check with them that it is also edible. But I could have sworn I saw that in the commercial, so I'm going to double check. But if you have something as clear cut as this, where they're actually showing it to you like that, and of course read the label and go back and look at the reviews. And sometimes it's just like, maybe something's edible, but maybe it doesn't taste as good. I don't know. Because this one here says it can be made into a tea. But this one here doesn't say that. And this one is Celosia cristata. And this one here is Celosia argentea cristata. So, I think they can both be, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm like 99% sure, so I'm going to double check. And then, yes, we have another package of free seeds. Now, the best way, the cheapest way to get your seeds would be to spend $10 and get a free seed packet. Spend $10 and get a free seed packet. If you spend like $35, you get 2. So I ended up spending over like $70, I think. So I think, you know, if I wasn't so impulsive, I could have gotten more free seed packets. This is called the Woolly Kate Yellow Tomato. And I didn't order it, but I got it for free. And I won't say no. That looks beautiful. And this one's going to be 80 to 90 days. So it's takes a little bit longer. So I might plant this like next year, because it's 80 to 90 days. So if it says like 6 to 10 weeks, and then I have to add the 80 to 90 days, I might go with one that says 6 to 10 weeks and then the one that says 80 days or 70. If there's one that says 70 days, that's even better. There are so many seed packages in this order. How many did I get? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 packages 20 packets of seeds. That is absolutely beautiful. You know what I like to say at the end of my videos, you guys? God bless you. Be good, be sweet, grow a garden if you want to eat. And I'll see you next time.